Dear viewers from the Diaspora in Armenia, we are continuing our interviews with the speakers of the Global Armenian Summit 2024. And right now I am joined by Michael Goorjian, film director and actor. Thank you very much, Michael, for joining us, for joining the summit. So my first question relates to the summit. Mm-hmm. So what has brought to the Global Armenian Summit this year?
Well, they invited me.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the first time I've been a part of the summit, and it's big. Like, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been to events and stuff and conferences, but like, I didn't realize how. I mean, there's people from everywhere. Armenians from everywhere.
Yeah, how is it to be among so many Armenians?
Well, no, it's great. It's great. I think. Having people from different parts of the world, Armenians from different parts of the world, here, being able to talk and communicate, and regardless of even the subjects that we're talking about, just being able to run into people. We had the reception last night, I got to meet, there's a French Armenian singer who's here. I was very excited to meet. So yeah, I think it's for me, it's wonderful in terms of what it's about, but also from just a human standpoint, I really appreciate it.
That's nice. So today you were speaking at this session which was dedicated to the soft power issues. Yeah. And I do believe you have a very specific point of view in regards to the soft power of Armenians and of Armenia.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting talk. I don't know that much. There was an expert there on soft power and cultural, as using culture for diplomacy. Yeah, for me, I feel like, all attention for Armenia is good. A lot of what I've always felt that we suffer from is people go, why doesn't the world care when this happens, that happens? And, it's because they don't see us. And I think art, film, culture is a way of having the rest of the world know more about our culture and who we are, and it helps to have people care more.
And what about our cultural representation right now, globally?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Well, I mean, the thing is that it's more of a question than an answer, because we're so many different things. We're not, most Armenians don't live in the country. Yeah. And the film I did was a lot about the relationship between Armenians in the diaspora and Hayastansi, and
let us mention that we're talking about the
Amerikatsi. Yeah. I think the need to define what we are, maybe it's not so important. It's more important to explore that, at least for artists, to the question of what does it mean to be Armenian is the foundation of good art, I think.
Oh, that's interesting. So that's your formula, that's your recipe of how being Armenian?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. I think once we decide things like, to be Armenian means you do this, or you eat food, this kind of food. Yeah. If we decide too much, I don't think that's healthy. I think it's because also we're a culture that is very old, but also all of the Armenians all over the world, what they're doing and bringing, they're adding as well. And so, I mean, I feel I would look at it as evolving. There's a root that is the country and is our history, but we're also a people that have, and this is one of our gifts. We can evolve and change and grow. Yeah, that's why I would say I like the idea of looking at, using the idea of, it's a question. What does it mean to be Armenian? For artists, that's a great place to start.
Do you think, for example, Amerikatsi answers that question?
No.
No?
I mean, maybe, it gives various there's things we see in it and play with, but I think
that was a tricky question.
I would
know.
say, because you go, oh, Armenian, that means, this is the music you listen to.
Yeah.
Other people go, well, that's our music too. Or this is the food, well, that's our food too. Or, well, Armenians do this. Irish people do that. Like everybody, it's kind of hard to define. I mean, there are definite things that are very Armenian. But again, I would say, if anything ties us all together, from a positive standpoint, and we use this in the film, we use the dinner table and meals and the conversation and the life around the table as being the heart of what we kind of felt was our culture.
Oh, that's really interesting. So, what do you think? I mean, what are we culturally producing right now, Armenians globally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what are the pathways of culturally communicating when the world, for example, can relate to us, can have at least not a complete, but at least a kind of understanding of who are Armenians, or who Armenians are.
I think we're somewhat defined also by the artists themselves. I would look towards not having artists not try to. Your goal is not to just communicate to the world, hey, look at, I'm Armenian, this is a, no, it's for you to find your own voice. Like Khachaturian or, Parajanov, they're rooted in Armenian culture, but that's not all they are. They themselves became something that we now go, oh, that's our culture. So I would say, I think for artists to find their own voice and not worry so much about trying to communicate Armenian anything. It's going to happen no matter what. If you're Armenian, it'll come through.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I got it. Is there any new initiative related to Armenia or Armenian that you are going to work on or you are already working on?
Oh, anything I'm doing? Yeah. You're trying to get me to...
I'm just wondering, honestly.
I am working on... I'd like to make another film in Armenia. And for me, it's finding the right one. And that's... it takes time for me. So I would... hopefully I'll have something soon.
But you are looking for a kind of a narrative story, or you are in the process of?
I have a bunch of different things that I'm playing with, but beyond me, I say in terms of filmmakers, we should make every kind of film. There should be an Armenian zombie movie. There should be an Armenian, romantic comedy. There should be an Armenian. There should be a film that is shot in Armenia. That has nothing to do with Armenia. But just it happens to be shot here. Or it's a film there's nothing except it's in the Armenian language. Like, it doesn't matter. I think we just need more and more variety. And I think we suffer a little bit from, because it's not a big industry, the scope of what Armenian cinema, there's definite wonderful aspects to it, but it's still very limited and small, and we need to expand it, I think. And so for me, finding what I want to do, I'm not going to just make Armenian films in my life, but it's important enough to me that to find another project that is my contribution to that. I'm not trying to do everybody's job and what do I have to offer that's uniquely me that can be an Armenian film.
Thank you, Michael.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot for joining our summit. We appreciate it highly. And let us remind to our viewers that I had the pleasure of speaking to Michael Goorjian. Thanks.
Thank you.